What is going on, everybody? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody's doing well. And wanted to talk about this topic. So I was on stream last night, and we got to talking about alliances, and definitely alliances in Marvel Strike Force are incredibly important. If you don't know that already, if you're just starting to play the game right now, picking it up, one of the things that you're definitely going to want to look into here is getting into a good alliance. It is definitely going to help you with your progression in the game. Largely, a lot of your progression in Marvel Strike Force is going to be predicated upon you getting into a good alliance, especially now, even in the end game format. A lot of being able to get into Dark Dimension 5, as you can see already, you need to be able to get yourself into a good alliance in order to be able to do that efficiently, or your alliance is going to need to coordinate efficiently to be able to get into Dark Dimension 5 to be able to complete these Doom raids. But I digress on that. What I wanted to talk about here in this video is the dangers of jumping into an alliance that is maybe a little bit too far ahead in the game for the content that you need to create. And I definitely think that there's some pros, right? We should definitely talk about the pros. If you get into if you're a earlier player, or if you're a mid-game player, let's say you're an earlier player and you get into an alliance that's doing more mid-game content. Let's say that you're a mid-game player that gets into an alliance that's doing end-game content. It is good. You're going to be able to get some good, valuable resources here that's going to be able to help you on down the road. If you're in the mid game going into end game alliance, you're going to be able to get things like T4s. You're going to be able to get some extra orange gear. You're going to be able to get some pretty valuable resources here. You're also going to be able to start to do some content, or at least be able to see some of the content that potentially you can start to plan towards, because you can now see the comps that are going to be used there. If you're in the earlier game and you start to get into an alliance that's doing some mid-game content, then of course you're going to be able to get some good resources there as well, some good orbs, things like T3s, things like that. But the problem with that, if you get into an alliance that's kind of way advanced for you in the game, the problem that typically tends to happen is that you lose some of the resources that you need at the point of the game where you are. What do I mean by that? So I get a lot of complaints about players who are in an alliance where they're doing Ultimate 7, right? But because they're in the earlier game, they need more T2s than they need T3s. So ultimately what tends to happen is that you got a bunch of T3s, but you can't equip T2s so that you can use the T3s. So now you're kind of screwed a little bit, right? In order to be able to, you're kind of screwed where that is concerned, because you're ultimately are kind of way too far ahead. Same thing kind of with a mid-game alliance as well. You could be getting into an alliance where you're getting more of other currency, and instead of getting those T4s. Now, granted, every raid season you do get a certain amount of T4s, but you kind of get the point. When you're kind of advancing into an alliance that's a little bit too far ahead of you, then ultimately, typically what tends to happen is that you're missing out on some of the resources that you are currently able to get, that you need to get in the game for now. And I don't want to make it seem as if though it's a you problem. It's really more of a game design problem. And I've talked about this multiple times before, that what happened, and we've seen this now in end game content, right? They will create ultimates. Let's take a step back. They created these ultimates raids, and then in these ultimates raids, they started giving you T3s, but they completely cut off you getting T2s. And we're seeing this now even in the end game content, where they introduced these new Doom 2 raids, but they've completely cut off you being able to get the Armory 14 and Armory 15 orbs, that you usually get from doing Doom 1 and then doing Doom 1.1. You're not getting those resources. So it's kind of like a game flaw. It's kind of like a game design flaw, and I'm starting to realize here in Marvel Strike Force. And I think that this is something that they definitely need to address, in my personal opinion. I don't think that if you are a player, so what this does is that it kind of discourages you as a player to be able to join an alliance that maybe a friend is playing. Maybe a friend has been playing for a year, especially now with you needing to do Doom 2 in order for you to get into Dark Dimension 5. It essentially discourages players from being able to play with other people that they know, And like I said, this is just a massive design flaw in my personal opinion. I think something that they should do and should consider for Ultimate 7 raids, right? I think that they should probably include having T2s in these Ultimate 7 raids. I think for later game content, I definitely think that for Doom 2 that they should definitely consider having those Armory 14s and having those Armory 15 orbs there, because you still are going to need Armory 14s and Armory 15s in order for you to be able to even get to being able to use Teal Gear, because we know they're going to come out with new characters. There's going to be new characters that you're going to need, that you're probably going to want to use for these Doom raids. There's probably going to be new characters that you're going to want to use for Dark Dimension 5. And if this game design continues to persist the way it is currently working right now, then there's going to be a massive flaw in this game, and it really kind of hinders the sort of the aspect of fun, and really kind of limits the progression of earlier players. It limits the progression of earlier players being able to kind of contribute in end game content, because it kind of feels bad, right? When, hey dude, I want to be able to use my T3s, I want to be able to use my T4s, but I don't have enough T3s, I don't have enough T2s to equip on my characters in order for me to be able to get to that point. T3s are still a little bit of a stranglehold as well. Players are telling me that it takes them a week just to fill out T3s on a character, an entire week in order for them to be able to fill out T3s on a character. It literally is it's crazy that this is still an issue. So like I said, I don't think it's a you problem. There's definitely some dangers here that obviously I'm highlighting. I don't think it's a you problem. I really think that it's more so a Scopely problem, and something that they need to consider taking a look at and changing a little bit of the structure of the game and how they're kind of going about doing this right now. Because I do think, I think largely the early game care is missing right now. Yes, there are some beginner characters that are getting reworked that makes the beginner experience a little bit better, but I do think that some of the early content, some of the earlier game players, some of the mid game players are lacking a little bit here, because the resources aren't as available as they potentially need to be. Listen, maybe I'm wrong. I'm curious to hear in the comments, guys, how you guys are kind of managing this. Are you experiencing that problem? Because I'm definitely getting commentary saying that, dude, I don't have enough T3s, I don't have enough T2s. I'm definitely getting that problem right now, and I definitely think, like I said, it's a game design issue. But curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. Would love to, like I said, my experience is a little bit different than probably than everybody's experience is a little bit different, but curious to hear what you guys have to say here about this. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the video, share it if you like what was said in the video here. Appreciate you guys so very, very much. Until next time, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.